Hi, lovely to have you here. Welcome to the Electro Revolution channel. My name is Michael and I'm a car and tech enthusiast. I'm really excited to have brought you these episodes. We had 3 episodes going from Sydney, New South Wales to Phillip Island in Victoria, and we've had 3 episodes coming back, episodes 4, 5 and 6. Now I hope you've seen them. If you haven't yet, I invite you to go watch them. We go through real world experiences. So I may plan a trip, but things change. Human nature calls. We need to take rest stops. We need to eat food and all of this sort of stuff. And during that whole process, sometimes we face challenges. And I've gone through all of those challenges, especially in episode 6. What this particular episode covers is the do's and don'ts, maybe some of the challenges I experienced, but mostly my recommendations. Recommendations both for us as drivers and recommendations for the vendors, people like EV and NRMA and those types of people, especially in Australia. But of course, international viewers can relate to exactly what I've experienced. So I really hope you enjoy this episode. I cover all the things. I give 6 recommendations at the end. So I hope you agree with them also. Now I'm just going to go through some learnings these are personal learnings that I discovered and my experiences with the trip up and the trip back, long trip. Firstly, I would say the trip up to Phillip Island was easy. There was actually no trouble, no wait times, no nothing. I was able to go to the stops that I wanted to go to. I was able to try various stops that I wanted to try, from slow charges to fast charges to variable charges. I didn't have any problem finding the charges. I had no wait times. I had no problems, end of the day. So the trip up was a delight, very easy. And I can attribute that to the work day. I left on the Thursday and it was early in the morning, Thursday morning. So there was no traffic. There was no, people were at work. Even though we have school holidays here in Australia at that time, there was no dramas with anything. The trip up was very easy. So my comments on the trip back. The trip back, unfortunately, was done on a Sunday, on the weekend, so I could return home ready for Monday work. Now, on the trip back, yes, there was quite a lot of issues. And the reason for that primarily was the busyness of these charges. So there are a couple of things that I would highlight on that. And there were a lot of faulty charges too. So there's notes I would put there too. So the main thing, I guess, with EV cars is you do need to plan, and you do need to plan ahead. If you're not the sort of person that plans or that has trouble planning, EV cars aren't for you for long trips. EV cars are perfectly ideal and well suited to suburban and city driving. I mean, I get over 550 kilometers on the BYD Seal. I charge that maybe once every 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, sometimes every 4 weeks, because, although I do drive it, I don't drive it that much that, I don't do daily commutes or anything like that. So I take my time in charging that vehicle. I do have also, as you know, the BYD Atto 3 that has much less distance, and I certainly wouldn't do a long trip in that because there's just too many charging stops for that particular vehicle. But that's good as the runaround car where I go shopping, doctors, visiting, family, all that sort of stuff. That's ideal for that. So in terms of this trip, number 1, if you're going to take a long trip in a battery electric vehicle, I'm not talking a hybrid, you need to plan. You need to plan ahead. If you're the sort of person that takes regular long trips, like a tradie that works, hours away from home and things like that, a full EV is just not for you in this current stage that we're at with EVs. You would need something like a hybrid. A hybrid would be ideal. It would save you money. Look at the BYD Shark. Look at, these different utes. Geely are coming out with one. Various makes and models are coming out with one. Hybrids are ideal for that type of solution. But would they be ideal for someone like me in the city and stuff? No. It's not something I would use. It's not something I would want to use because it's still gasoline powered. It still produces fumes and exhausts and kills people at the end of the day. It's not something I would be interested in doing. So number one, if you own an EV, you need to plan, and you need to plan ahead on long trips. If you can do that and you're someone like me, I enjoy planning, then this is for you. If you're not someone like that, then you're better off going with a hybrid. And number two, my other learning experience here is I disabled the Tesla chargers. Now, Tesla has the best charging network in the entire world. That's bar none, and no one debates that. And that includes Australia. What I did on purpose, as you saw in episode 1, I disabled the Tesla charging network. And there's a reason for that. I didn't know at the time, of course, but I didn't want to go to a Tesla charger and not have it be an open charger. Open chargers are suitable for the BYD Seal Premium. It can charge off those things. The difference in price is about 10 cents per kilowatt. It's no big deal. But I didn't want to go to a charging system that wasn't an open charger, yet the trip planner, as another video I watched with another reviewer who owns a Tesla and owns a BYD at that time, he reviewed it, and the trip planner basically plans Tesla chargers that aren't open chargers, and that's not suitable to me. I wouldn't want to show up to a Tesla charging station and not know it's open. So that's part of the planning stage. Number one, I wouldn't disable the Tesla chargers anymore. I'd actually use them, but I'd have to make sure during the plan, before I take the trip, that they are open chargers and I can use them. So if you remember, I think it was episode 2 or 3, one of those, I went to the BP Pulse and I had a chat with a gentleman with the Tesla Model X. He actually told me you can get CHAdeMO to CCS2 adapters. And that was an interesting conversation. I did look them up. They're a couple of $1,000s, so absolutely not worth it for me. But if you're the sort of person that needs that sort of emergency charging, because the CHAdeMO can go up to 150, even though you won't find them in Australia. I haven't found any. But the ones I do find, they go from 50 to 60 to 75 kilowatt. In an emergency, or if you really, really need it, or if your business or company is going to pay for that, that's certainly worth it, because every single charger I went to had a CHAdeMO free, every single one. No one I saw was using the CHAdeMOs. And when I did my research on the CHAdeMOs, that's essentially a Japanese brand. So you're looking at Nissan, Toyota, those types of cars. You're not looking at the international brand of CCS2, which is European. And of course, everyone's compatible with that these days. So I don't understand fully why the charging systems don't have adapters for us or anything like that. That's maybe because of cost, but it's an option for people to have an adapter, a CHAdeMO to CCS2 adapter, if you're the sort of person that needs it. The other thing I would say is when I checked for every single one of the chargers I was going to, especially when I changed my mind during the trip, I would always go into the app and check the app for that particular charging network. And a lot of the time, unfortunately, they were out. I would see, we apologize for the inconvenience. The chargers are out. Another one from the NRMA, for example, which was near Wodonga, they said they were in a car park, and because the car park was being renovated, the entry to the car park was unavailable. I saw actually a lot of that, and I was actually surprised about it. And that's why when I went to Wodonga and we had the EV charger at fault, that was also a regular occurrence. That's not something I would have expected, especially when I went to the EV charger and they didn't even specify in the app that the charger was faulty. That's just not good, especially when they knew 3 days in advance. So that's another thing I would say is planning. It's key to this sort of stuff. The other thing I would say, and these are my honest opinions, like I am an EV supporter, but I'm also being factual here about my experiences. There are too many apps. I got NRMA app, I got BP Pulse app, I got the EV app, I got ChargeFox app, I can go on. There's many apps. I don't understand why. Why wouldn't it be so simple just to have one credit card and swipe the credit card on the machine? Seems logical to me. And I think in Europe that actually happens. But in Australia, everyone has to have an app. You have to download the app, you have to enter the credit card details before you can even use the charger. To me, that's just total inconvenience, and that needs to be fixed. The other thing I would say is larger charging stations. Now, what I did find, especially for the ones with good public resources, like the ones I mentioned, like with the McDonald's, with the KFCs, with the Portos, with the nice places, the nice rest stops, they only have 2 chargers. I mean, to me, that's ridiculous. With the amount of people that were waiting when I went to these charging places, they could make a bucket of money just by having more chargers there. So it makes no sense to me, honestly, why they would have only 2 chargers, 2 charging systems. Like when you look at Tesla, for example, the ones that I saw on the way to Melbourne, on the way to Victoria, they were 6 charging stations, 12 charging stations. Yes, they were different versions, but that doesn't matter. The point was, when Tesla builds their charging systems, they put multiple chargers there, and I don't think you'd ever see one full, especially at these, even on the holiday breaks. So I would say to companies like EV, for example, they're the largest charging network in Australia. They deal mostly with the highways and freeways. They don't deal with the suburbs much. They leave the smaller players for the suburbs. A lot of their business policy is to put it on the main roads and the freeways. So good luck for that, but end of the day, they need more chargers at those charging stations. 1 and 2 is just not enough, my opinion. Yeah, and last but not least, I would say the hybrid vehicles. If you're taking these types of long trips, as I've explained it before, hybrid vehicles would be ideal. And that's all I would have to say at this point. So I do hope you enjoyed this video and this full series. I will end it with my ending comments now. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode and the end of the series. I hope you've enjoyed this series as much as I've enjoyed making it. To be honest, I've wanted to make a road trip video since I've started this channel. So I'm glad I was able to do it, and I hope I've shared information of these real world experiences to make your life easier. And hopefully I'll even take my recommendations on the next road trip. So if you have liked this video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share this content with someone who'd enjoy it, or just leave a comment and say thank you. It really all helps. So until the next episode or the next series, I hope to see you there. Bye for now.